So if this is the first video you open up today on YouTube, or if this is just you clicking on my content to watch it, then I'm wishing all of you out there a fantastic day or night, wherever you live, because all of you guys continuously put a smile on my face, you make me have a good time, and I want to spread that overall good tone, that good vibe that you all give me every single day. And so with that out of the way, let's talk about why you clicked on this video, The World After the Fall, a series that is on Webtoon, and a series that has definitely caught my eye, because I know many of you out there that enjoy, like, fantasy stories, power fantasy stories, or just stories about a character having to struggle and really fight for humanity, or climbing a tower and all that, like how Tower of God is, or how people love soul leveling, etc. I know there's a lot of you out there that love that type of content. You love those type of story elements and seeing how a writer can really mix things up, make things super unique, and that's exactly what I think I have found with The World After the Fall. It's a relatively new series from what I can see so far. There's not like a whole lot of chapters, but from the chapters that's currently out that you can read on Webtoon, which I'll have linked in the description if you want to check it out for yourself, it is a really interesting twist. Some twists that you don't normally often see in this type of genre, this type of storytelling when it comes to, let's say, climbing a tower, etc. So let's talk about it. What is World After the Fall? Well, it's a very dark series, actually. It took 15 years for our main male character to beat the tutorial. Just let's put that in perspective, okay? So imagine you're playing a game and it takes you 15 years to beat said game. That is absolutely ridiculous to think about. And so to kind of give some clarity to what I'm talking about, the MC was placed in this tower. He accepted the call to come to the tower to become a tower walker, and when he clicked yes on the notification that appeared before him, he got transported to it. And from that point onward, for 15 years later, he has been in that tower. And as he slowly climbed to the tower, climbed the tower up one floor by floor, and he reached to the end of the tower, he was the only one left, and he lost so many people around him. And as he reaches towards the end, he realizes it was just all a tutorial. It wasn't even the main game. That's a really difficult tutorial. Like, okay, I know it's a meme and it's said to death, like, just like Dark Souls, but literally, like, if it takes you 15 years and, like, people are dying left and right throughout, the tutorial, then obviously it's some Dark Souls difficulty, or maybe even more so than Dark Souls, because it's extreme if it took him that long to actually beat it. Now, anyways, let's talk about some of the twists and turns and kind of what makes this series a little bit dark. So, early on within the story, with Chapter 0 and onward, it tells you that there is a chance. There is a chance that the story could theoretically, have the main character go back in time and start everything over. And this is a story gimmick that has appeared multiple times without this type of storytelling. For instance, when you have a character that's in a power fantasy, or a character that's OP, or a character just, trying to survive with a party and all that and climb a tower, the element of going back to the very beginning and starting over and retaining all your memories is a plot thread that happens a lot in these type of stories. And so when that was introduced early on, within this series, The World After the Fall, I was under the impression that's what was going to happen, that the MC was going to reset everything, start over, and then have all of his group and everybody around him and journey up the tower. We would get to see the journey of the tower. But the story doesn't do that. It throws you a curveball, and as I said, it took him 15 years to beat the tower. He finds out it's a tutorial, so hypothetically, even if he was to go back, okay, even if he did go back, he would just be still in the tutorial again. He wouldn't even be in the main part of what he's in, like the game, etc. So it's a very interesting concept. Now, one of the quick twists that happened was that actually it was all a lie. There is no way to start back over and go back to the beginning with everybody still alive around you. There is no such thing as time travel within the tower. And so it was a little lie that was spread amongst everybody that was journeying with our MC, and anyone that would use these regression stones hoping that they would go back in time. it didn't really happen. They didn't actually go back. They didn't actually reset time and retain all their memories. They were just basically thrown into like a nightmare state and just imprisoned, and that's about it. They didn't really get another chance. They pretty much just opted out to just be at the mercy of a dream demon. So when you really think about just that overall direction that the story went, it's very unique. I do like that, how it plays on these elements of like, hey, you might think this is going to happen. Like, the character is going to reset and start over and know things, but that's not what the story does. And I appreciate that. I really do appreciate how unpredictable these story elements and, the way the story kind of panned out as I kept reading chapter by chapter. Now, to talk about the actual final floor and the individual that, our MC encountered, he was apparently a demon that is tasked with being a cultivator, cultivating talent within the tutorial, and then having these talents, proceed on to the Great Realm, basically the main game. And so if these talents, do well in the main game, then eventually they could get a contract and a partnership with, let's say, an individual that is a master of, the Great Realm. And so you can kind of see the story beats of where it's going. Basically, the tutorial is used as a way to pick and choose who can potentially carry on to the next game and be able to achieve great feats, great, potential in the actual overall universe. Now, for the others that obviously have died within the story, at least for our MC, it's implied that they're not necessarily dead. And we can't really know for sure because, like, the way the demon was communicating with our MC, you can't really trust his words. I mean, he's a demon, obviously, trying to make a deal, etc. But you can't really trust his words. You can't really trust what he's trying to say. And so because of that, you don't know if he was telling the truth about everyone technically being in a coma and just, time is passing slowly for them, or if they're actually dead or not. And if that is indeed the case, there is a potential possibility the characters that were already showcased throughout the early chapters of The World After the Fall could reappear later on in the story. Now, once again, they could just be throwaway characters to kind of set the overall premise and where the story is going to go, but once again, that is some potential possibility. Now, one thing I will say, at least where the latest chapters are for The World After the Fall, our MC, he basically beats the controller, the owner of the tower, the tutorial tower, and he forces his way through to the next floor, which shouldn't technically exist. He forces his way through, he breaks down the very realm, the barrier between worlds pretty much, and he shifts over into the Great Realm to be able to go to the very top, to, be able to actually beat the game. So I think that overall the potential of the series is there. I mean, if you're a big fan of like Tower of God, if you're a big fan of Omniscient Reader, you're a big fan of soul leveling, etc., and you like these type of story elements, you're probably going to be a big fan. It definitely has elements that are similar to other stories, but like I said, it circumvents around these cliches and does it in its own unique way. I think that's really cool, and I'm glad this series is like that. Now, in terms of artwork, I do want to take a few moments to talk about that. I really love how crisp and clean the artwork is. I love some of the panels I got to see while I was reading it. Just straight up beautiful artwork, beautiful color palette. I mean, seriously, it really is amazing in terms of story quality and artwork quality. I mean, that's one of the things you can always find when it comes to webtoon series like this. I mean, you always can just see great quality artwork, and once again, another great quality webtoon. Now, if I had to take an educated guess of where the story's going to go from this point onward after him breaking through dimensions and, like, killing pretty much the boss of the tutorial, I'm going to assume that now the writer's going to be able to experiment with storytelling, because after how strong the prologue, like the prelude to this story so far has been, and how the author has done some very unique twists and turns to kind of circumvent, like going down the typical cliche route, there is a lot of possibility with the story right now. But judging by where the story's at this moment, it looks like our main character is going to be forming a party, collecting allies and stuff, and I'm excited to see just how unique the world is, the world building, because that's one of my favorite things about fantasy stories is the world building. Now, before I wrap up this video, though, I just want to say, if you are interested in reading The World After the Fall, then the link to the series for Chapter 0 is in the description. Now, this series is, completely free on Webtoon, so you don't have to worry, you don't have to pay or anything. So if you click on the link, you'll be able to just read it for free and legally. But also, on top of that, it will help me out a lot, just to be completely transparent with all of you. But, yeah, this was fun. It's nice. It's really nice. And I know many of you have been asking me like, Chibi, you've been doing outside videos more. Yeah, I've actually really been enjoying the tranquil environment, honestly. I know many of you probably like to see the manga shelves and stuff behind me, but there's something so great about just sitting out, listening to the birds, the bees, and just having a good time, a relaxed time. It's really nice. It's a nice environment. It really, I feel like, gives a nice tranquil vibe to these videos. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want more content on this series, do let me know in the description. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. It does help out a lot. With that, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.